Hello, my fellow Nigerians. Happy 64th Independent to all Nigerians, both home and abroad. For the very first time in the history of our country, it doesn't seem that we're celebrating independence. 64th Independent in our country. For the very first time, Nigeria does not have a feeling and any need to celebrate independence. Even some people are forgetting that today is Nigeria independent. Even when we were going through colonialism, our spirit has not been this down the way it has been in the last 1.5 years. 64 years ago, before colonialism ended, Nigerians were the greatest people on earth. We had agriculture and cocoa. We had food in abundance in our country. Our people were all their brothers' keepers. From the north to the south of Nigeria, there was an amalgamation that brought these two regions together because the white people saw in us the greatness that flows from Niger River down to Lagos, to Calabar, to Kaduna, to Sokoto. But today, those things that bind us together are no longer things that are keeping us together. Before independence, Nigerians walk freely on the streets of Lagos, of Kaduna. Nigerians sleeps midnight outside. Fast forward 64 years later, many Nigerians sleep inside their door, gated gates, gated door, and gated window. There is no difference from those who are living in prisons and many Nigerians with the kind of life we live today. 64 years ago, before independence, Nigeria has the best currency in the world. Naira could stand against dollar, pound sterling, and compete in the world market. But what happens 64 years later? Our currency, our Naira, is one of the worst currency in the world today. 64 years ago, Nigerians were known to be doing great in sports, in wrestling, in boxing. Oh, not to mention football. But what happened today? We are no longer a name reckoned with at the international world of sports because everything has been collapsed by a set of leaders that have been running our country, especially the last 20 years. Nigeria was a country where education was one of the best. There were jobs all over the country. We have companies that even when our citizens travel abroad, they come back home. They don't stay in US. They don't stay in London. They don't stay anywhere in the world. They come back because when they get back home, there's a job and a brand new Peugeot 544 waiting for them. That was how beautiful our country was before now. Little by little, from one government to the other, things started falling apart in our nation. A nation that was once one of the best nations on earth with oil. We had the oil boom. We had money, and we don't even know what to do with it. That same nation is a nation today that suffers from oil doom. Every of our refineries are shut down. And the ones that are working, we can't even account for the crude oil that is being lifted from all the regions where we're extracting them. Insecurity ravaged the nation. Lawlessness. Nigerians have turned to be second-class citizens in their nation. People are dying of suicide every day in our country. And having Nigerians walk on the street of Lagos with so much depression, on the street of Abuja, because of the art consequences of bad leadership that we have been having in our country the last couple of years. The last 2 years has been the worst of our country. Because one government go, one government come, there has been a steady decline in our country until President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took office. And the decline took a 200 to 400% decline. Nigeria has one of the highest interest rates in the world, which makes this country harder to survive for any businesses. So many businesses have shipped themselves out of Nigeria to neighboring countries like Ghana and South Africa. And so many youths are left with nothing to do. And yet, we call them lazy youth. The question is, what jobs are we providing for these youths to do? Our women have turned, to something else just because of how bad our economy is. The president of government, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has made poverty so personal that even an average person in Nigeria is so poor now. There are only two classes of people in Nigeria now, the rich and the poor. There is 1% of the people that has all the wealth of our nation, and 99% of Nigerians who are in abject poverty. Most people don't even know what they will eat tomorrow morning. Most people don't even know what they will eat today, Independent Day. People have resolved into 101-001 in the formula of eating. No 3-square meal like we will have and even call neighbors to eat, unlike before. This is how bad our economy has been in the last 64 years. Presently, our hope is dashed. When this government took office 2 years ago, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu promised a renewed hope. But I'm afraid what Nigerians have seen is a renewed hunger, a renewed poverty, a renewed insecurity, and a renewed country with no hope, no future. The government is telling the people to be patient. Things are going to get better. And yet, the same government turn around and lavishing money. So many corruption in this government, and there is no law and order. Nobody is punished for every corruption that is perpetrated every day that we read in the pages of newspapers. What happened to Minister Edu, the humanitarian minister who embezzled so much money? We have forgotten about it. That is how we play politics in our country. Emotional politics. It happens, we forget about it, we talk about it, and they sweep it under the carpet. It's only in our country that some people are powerful and above the law. What happened to the former governor of Kogi State, Yaya Bello, who up to now is walking the street of Kogi free, and nobody can arrest him? And ongoing is a young man that was supposed to be in jail, but was given a preferential treatment in an apartment instead of being in a jail. That is how our government has ridiculed the people, and now we have a class that belongs to the 1%, while 99% are suffering in our nation. Once you know the 1%, you can do anything and go scot-free with it. Nigerians are continuing suffering. The ones who can escape through traveling abroad are escaping, while the ones who are there are just looking for a way for God to open the door for them to leave. If any country is created today and they needed 100 million people to fill the country, I'm sure that 99% of people that will apply first will be Nigerians. That is how bad our country has been. The country is hopeless. The situation is so bastardized. And every Nigerian has lost hope in his country. And that is why nobody is patriotic again in our nation. And every Nigerian is no longer patriotic. And every Nigerian is no longer patriotic because of the way things are going on in our nation. But what do we say? It's 64th year of democracy. And what it means is that we have the right to hire and fire those who are leading us. So I will use this medium to talk to the government of Nigeria on the need to turn the page. Nigerians are suffering. From the north to the south, to the east, to the west of our country, Nigerians are suffering. And this government must do everything. Enough of promises. Enough of Mr. President coming on here to tell us promises. What his government has been doing and how things are going to get better. And instead of getting better, it's getting worse every day. This government must reshuffle itself and take a new course, because the course we have been going the last 2 years has not worked. Petroleum prices is going up every day. Even after removing subsidy, it's getting worse by the day. This government has borrowed money that even the next 10 generations will not be able to pay back, even after we remove subsidy. This government has increased so much tariff to the Nigerian people. Nigerians have been divided into band A, band 2, band C, band D. If you belong to band A, then you get more lights than those who are in band D, where we're supposed to be in a country that everyone is equal, and the amount of light should be supplied to everybody. Our mindset has been so bastardized that we take anything that comes because we are living by the day. Nigerians can no longer make plans for a year, but they are making plans for the next day because they are not sure where their next meal will come from. So I want to use this medium to call on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his government. It is time to turn around the policies you have put in place the last 1.5 years. It's not working. It hasn't worked, and it's not going to work. It's only those who are benefiting from this government that will say it's working, because it is not working. Nigerians are hungrier. Nigerians are hungrier. The level of poverty in the country is like the world has never known. Nigeria has the highest level of unemployment and the highest level of youth living in the country, because there's nothing that the government is creating. There is not even enabling environment. If we say there are grants, these are grants given to only political parties that belongs to the ruling party. This is how bad our nation has been. But this government can still turn things around. But if not, Nigerians will not forget in a hurry how they have been suffering under this government. And when it comes to election next time, they will have the right and the power to hire and fire. And by then, sharing 5,000, sharing 10,000 will not be able to solve the problem, because the people have been pushed beyond the wall. Everybody in Nigeria is sitting on a gunpowder. And I hope that gunpowder is not going to explode someday. We're not going to be able for long continue to bribe our way, lobbying the people with money. At some point, the people will revolt against a government who is making life miserable every day. And having Nigerian is miserable every day. And all we hear from the government is empty promises. Promises every day with nothing to show for it. Palliative given out with nothing to show for it. And yet, Nigerians are tolerating. Nigerians are enduring. At some point, their endurance will get to a point that they won't be able to take it anymore. Instead of this government to engage the people, this government is a government that do divide and rule. But this government will not be able to do divide and rule for too long when Nigerians are tired and they feel that it's time to turn the page. Everywhere in the world, people are looking to turn the page. It will get to a point in our country that will also want to turn the page. So this government can still turn the page and make things better for Nigerian people. This government can still turn the page and let Nigerians now begin to see a relief, because the country is tough. Things are tight. Nigerians are losing it. People are dying. Journalists may not be recording and reporting everything happening in our country, but a lot is going on in our nation. A lot so bad. It's going on in our nation, and everybody can feel it. Everyone is feeling it, both home and abroad. So I'm calling on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to do something. Do not use this occasion to just tell Nigerian people to hold on, just like you have been saying, to wait. Things are going to get better. When will they get better? How long? How long will the long be long again for people to wait? People are dying. People are wailing. People are helpless. They don't see the hope. There's no renewed hope. Instead, what they see, renewed hunger, renewed poverty, renewed insecurity, renewed joblessness. This is all that we see in our nation. Families are breaking apart every day because of how bad the economy is. Husbands are running away. Wives are leaving husband and committing every sort of crimes out there just to make ends meet. This government must do everything to turn the page because our country is moving in a wrong direction. Our country is in a wrong direction. And we cannot go through this direction for too long. We must turn the page. So whatever it's going to take, this government needs new blood. To pump in new blood into this government and stop recycling the same people that have been recycled from Buhari up to date. It is not working. Whatever they have been doing, it's not working. I think this government is not getting the right advice. And until we do, and sincere about this running our country, that is when we're going to have a nation. Nigeria is the most populous black nation on earth, but today is the most lovable nation on earth. But I still believe that someday Nigeria will turn around. I still believe and I hope that someday Nigeria will be another country we'll look back to and say, thank God, we've come back again. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but someday we'll have a country that will be able to celebrate independence and say, yes, we are free indeed. Because right now, we're not free. Nigerians are not free. Under democracy, they can't even express themselves before they're being picked up by this government. This government fights every opposition every day, even when this government is supposed to listen to opposition and see how you can even bring some to see how they can help the government. But I know someday Nigerians will be free at last, and we'll have a government we'll be able to be proud of. And Nigerians all over the world will be able to return back home again, just like we have Ghanaians return back to their country. There are millions of Nigerians abroad, more than millions in the country. Go to anywhere in the world, there are millions of Nigerians there who have escaped. Some are even living, going to a worse country. They rather stay there than stay in their country that offer them nothing. I pray that as we celebrate independence today, we will have the cause to celebrate it in a year's time when things are changing for the better in our country. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. May God bless you, and may God bless me. Thank you. Happy independence to all Nigerians, both home and abroad.